The mahogany table at the Sterling Vane estate was polished to a mirror finish, reflecting the heavy crystal chandeliers and the 6 faces of the city's most powerful lineage. Arthur Sterling Vane, the patriarch, prided himself on the sterling standard. Everything in his life was authentic, aged, and impeccably vetted. Tonight's centerpiece was the inherited Sèvres porcelain, a service set commissioned for a duke in 1780, the flaw in the foundation. As the footman laid the first course, a delicate saffron consomme, Eleanor, the youngest daughter, felt her breath hitch. She watched her father's plate land with a muffled thud that didn't quite match the musical tink of the others. She looked down at her own setting. To the untrained eye, it was perfect. The same cornflower blue, the same intricate gold filigree. But Eleanor spent her summers in the archives. She knew the weight of true Sèvres. The plate before her was slightly too heavy, lacking the ethereal lightness of soft paste porcelain. The glaze. Under the candlelight, the gold didn't glow with an amber warmth. It flashed with a cold, metallic harshness. The mark. When she shifted her spoon, she saw a tiny, jagged chip on the rim that had been crudely painted over with cheap gold leaf. It was a brilliant imitation, but it was a lie nonetheless. The guests of honor Arthur gestured toward the end of the table. "To our new partner," he boomed, raising a glass of vintage Krug, "Julian Thorne, the man who saved the merger." Julian smiled. He was handsome, possessed an effortless mid-Atlantic accent, and wore a bespoke suit that cost more than a mid-sized sedan. He had appeared in their social circles 6 months ago, claiming a pedigree from a defunct line of Belgian industrialists. The table erupted in polite applause. But Eleanor couldn't stop looking at the chipped plate. "Julian," Eleanor said, her voice cutting through the clink of silverware, "I was looking at the service tonight. It's a mismatched set." The table went silent. Arthur's face reddened. "Nonsense, Eleanor. This set has been in the vault since the Great War." "No," she insisted, sliding her thumb over the painted chip. 5 of these are masterpieces. One is a store-bought counterfeit. It looks the part, it talks the part, but it's made of common clay." The fracture. She looked directly at Julian. For a split second, the sterling standard of his composure cracked. He didn't look offended. He looked assessed. "Even the finest collections have a replacement or two." "Eleanor," Julian said smoothly, though his hand tightened around his wine glass, "life is about the presentation, isn't it? If no one notices the difference, does the difference actually exist?" "In this family," Arthur growled, "the difference is everything." Eleanor didn't back down. She picked up her dinner knife and, with a sharp, deliberate flick, tapped the rim of her plate. Instead of the clear, bell-like ring of fine china, it produced a dull, hollow clack. The sound was an accusation. The silence that followed was heavy with the realization that Julian Thorne's background check had been conducted by a firm he owned, and his Belgian estate was a shell company registered in the Caymans. Like the plate, he had been manufactured to fit into a set where he didn't belong. The aftermath. By the time the main course arrived, Julian was gone, claiming a sudden migraine. He left behind his napkin and a legacy of fraud that would take the Sterling Vanes years to untangle. Arthur sat staring at the empty seat at the end of the table. He picked up the imitation plate, turning it over to see the underside. There, hidden beneath a fake hallmark, was a tiny made-in-PRC sticker that had been missed by the fraudster's brush. "He almost had us," Arthur whispered. Eleanor took a sip of her wine. "The problem with fakes, father, is that they have to try so hard to look perfect that they eventually forget how to sound real."